Ecclesiastes chapter 2. I said to myself, "Go ahead. I will test you with pleasure and enjoy what is good." But it turned out to be futile. I said about laughter, "It is madness," and about pleasure, "What does this accomplish?" I explored with my mind how to let my body enjoy life, with drink, and how to grasp folly. My mind still guided me with wisdom, until I could see what is good for people to do under heaven during the few days of their lives. I increased my achievements. I built houses and planted vineyards for myself. I made gardens and parks for myself and planted every kind of fruit tree in them. I constructed reservoirs of water for myself, for which to irrigate a grove of flourishing trees. I acquired male and female servants, and had servants who were born in my house. I also owned many herds of cattle and flocks, more than all who were before me in Jerusalem. I also amassed silver and gold for myself, and treasures of kings and provinces. I gathered male and female singers for myself, and many women, the delight of men. Thus I became great and surpassed all who were before me in Jerusalem. My wisdom also remained with me. All that my eyes desired, I did not deny them. I did not refuse myself any pleasure, for I took pleasure in all my struggles. This was my reward for all my struggles. When I considered all I had accomplished and what I had labored to achieve, I found everything to be futile and a pursuit of the wind. There was nothing to be gained under the sun. Then I turned to consider wisdom, madness, and folly. What will the man be like who comes after me? He will do what has already been done. And I realized that there is an advantage to wisdom over folly, like the advantage of light over darkness. The wise man has eyes in his head, but the fool walks in darkness. Yet I also knew that one fate comes to them both. So I said to myself, what happens to the fool will also happen to me. Why then have I been overly wise? And I said to myself that this is also futile. For just like the fool, there is no lasting remembrance of the wise man, since in the days to come both will be forgotten. How is it that the wise man perishes, just like the fool? Therefore, I hated life because the works that was done under the sun was distressing to me, for everything is futile and a pursuit of the wind. I hated all my work at which I labored under the sun, because I must leave it to the man who comes after me, and who knows whether he will be a wise man or a fool. Yet he will take over all my works that I labored at skillfully under the sun. This too is futile. So I began to give myself over to despair concerning all my works I had labored at under the sun. For there is a man whose work was done with wisdom, knowledge, and skill. But he must give his portion to a man who has not worked it. This too is futile and a great wrong. For what does a man get with all his work and all his effort that he labors at under the sun? For all his days are filled with grief, and its occupation is sorrowful. Even at night his mind does not rest. This too is futile. There is nothing better for a man to eat, drink, and enjoy his work. I have seen that even this is from God's hand. For who can eat and who can enjoy life apart from God? For to the man who is pleasing in his sight he gives wisdom, knowledge, and joy. But to the sinner he gives the task of gathering and accumulating in order to give it to the one who is pleasing to God's sight. This too is futile and a pursuit of the wind.